Hello, Nathan. Can you
Hi.
state your name and position for me, please?
Yes, my name is Nathan Smith. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Psychological Health and Learning Sciences, and I am currently the department chair of that department.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Okay. Who is your favorite musical artist and why?
I have a lot of favorites, but I think for me, when I think about that question, it's more of a genre that
Okay.
is my favorite. And that for me is really the punk and post punk scene and
Mm.
kind of that whole genre of music. Growing up in Texas, as a little gay boy in the late 80s and early 90s, discovering punk and post punk kind of gave me a home.
Hmm.
Finding bands like The Cure, where Robert Smith, as a straight man, was wearing makeup, and just um, the way in which punk and post punk really went against the grain. It kind of gave me a home as someone who felt like they didn't fit in, like nobody was out when I was in high school, and finding that scene um, was a scene where people accepted me for who I was, and so that's really had a huge impact on my life.
Cool. What is your favorite season and why?
So for me, it's fall. I There's a briskness both in the air and just in the feeling of things. I've pretty much been in universities my entire adult life, and so that feeling of coming back and getting started, and there's just everything is active. And Texas summers are awful. So, having grown up in Texas and been in Texas for a good portion of my life, when things start to cool down, combined with kind of getting back to school, I've just always loved that.
What is your favorite part of being LGBT?
So I think for me, it's really two things. I think one is the community that being queer has really introduced me to an entire group of people across the world that I wouldn't have known were I not queer. And I think as queers, we really know about creating families of choice. So I'm very lucky that I have a family of origin that I love and am close with, but I'm also very lucky that I have a family of choice, and that family of choice I think is intricately tied into who I am as a gay man. So that's one piece. And I think that the other piece is uh, it's really given me a lot of empathy and a lot of self-awareness about my identities, and that self-awareness about my identities has given me more empathy for other individuals from marginalized groups. I think experiencing oppression has really allowed me to generalize that, so that it's part of my identities that have come from being queer and being marginalized have become identities as a feminist, as an anti-racist, as an ally to other marginalized communities. And I think that because of experiencing that marginalization, I've been able to see how other communities who don't have the privileges that I have as a white cis man, I'm able to really want to do something to change that. And I don't know if I would have those kind of values if I wasn't gay.
If you could travel anywhere in the world without thinking about the cost, where would you go and why?
Kind of everywhere, maybe not everywhere. There's some places I really wouldn't want to go because I'm a gay man. But I love traveling. I really loved being in Japan a couple of summers ago, so I'd really like to see other parts of Asia. Um, yeah, I love traveling, so I'd like to really go many, many places.
In what ways do you feel empowered by being out and visible?
I think um, I think one way is that I'm sort of aware of my status as a role model, and some of the research that I've done. One of my students and I have been looking at the factors that protect against suicidality among trans adults, and one of the things that came out of that research is that um, our trans participants who were talking about being suicidal previously but not acting on those thoughts, one of the things that kept them from acting on them was there being a role model in the trans community. And that if they were to act on those thoughts, it would really impact the community, and that wasn't something that they could do to the community. So that really resonated with me. And as an out gay man, as a cis person who is an ally to the trans and non-binary community, I really see that as sort of a responsibility to give back to the community. And so, some of the things that I've done that on campus that I'm particularly proud of are I'm one of the faculty staff co-sponsors for our gender diversity living learning community in the residences, which is a community for trans, non-binary, and allied students, which has been very fulfilling for me. I've also been involved in the Red Dinner on campus. I just recently, about a month ago maybe, one of my colleagues and I sponsored Red Dinner Rhapsody, which raised funds for the Red Dinner. So I think for me, being out and visible is, I guess, a responsibility to give back, and sort of see myself as a role model.
Cool. Thank you so much, Nathan.
My pleasure. Thank you.